Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today despite the snow. My name is Anna Eck, and I'm an Associate Director at Christie & Co.'s Hotel Consultancy team across 30 European offices in, amongst others, Germany, France, Spain, and the UK. We advise clients with their hotel investments. Recently, we've launched a research report analyzing European travel trends and hotel investment hotspots. And today I'm going to present you the risks and opportunities around European hotel investments that we've identified in this report. So first of all, we start with a very positive message. Europe is the most visited destination in the world, attracting 628 million, or half of global arrivals in 2016. As demonstrated by the steady growth, as you can see in the graph, Europe has proven resilient to safety challenges and economic uncertainty that we faced in recent years. In 2016, the biggest share of international travel was to Southern Europe, which has benefited from displacement tourism because of political instability in the Middle East and North Africa. Going forward, we expect this positive outlook for Europe to translate into increased demand for accommodation. Accessibility is a key driver for tourism, and Europe's attractiveness has historically been supported by major airport hubs such as London Heathrow, Paris Charles de Gaulle, Frankfurt, and Amsterdam Schiphol. In 2017, the airports highlighted here handled over 500 million passengers. However, most of these largest airports have reached or are reaching capacity. Thus, our conclusion is that rather than the lack of demand, infrastructure constraints might risk the growth in Europe. Whilst we knew that inner European demand has historically been strong, our report reveals that European travelers account for almost 90% of the demand in Europe. That is, people from the UK traveling to Germany, Germans traveling to Spain. That is because some of the world's largest outbound markets are located in Europe as well, such as the UK, Germany, and France. So in order to understand what might drive the market growth in the future, we have identified the top international non-European feeder markets, such as the US and Canada, as well as emerging markets like China, India, and Brazil. So in order to provide an outlook on demand, we've been extremely privileged to work with Google Analytics data. They track more than you think. This data shows researches rather than bookings, but still provides a good indication of where people are looking to travel next. So the volume of searches is shown as the market share on the bottom, and the other axis shows the annual growth over the past 3 years. So the UK, all the way to the right, Italy and France are fairly established markets. However, we also see an immediate effect on France due to the attacks in Paris and Nice, impacting the number of searches going in for around France in the French hotel market. For Finland, up there, Norway and Portugal, on the other hand, it is fair to assume that based on this data, demand will grow in the future. So we know demand is strong. What does that mean for supply? Italy is the largest market with 2.25 million hotel beds in Europe, followed by Spain and Germany with just below 2 million beds. Iceland, Denmark, and Finland are at the other end of the spectrum with 150,000 beds or below. The overnight to bed ratio that we're using here helps to understand demand in relation to supply. So a high O to B ratio, as can be seen in the UK, Ireland, Iceland, and Spain, suggests room for new supply, while Greece, Italy, and Finland show more saturated levels of supply. Seasonality constraints can be one factor to explain that, with demand being concentrated on a few months during the summer. So, when looking at European hotel transaction volume, the question is, will the UK hold on its strong position against Germany and Spain? 2015 was the strongest year yet, in terms of transactions in Europe, reaching 27 billion euro. The UK accounted for over 40%, or 11.4 billion euro of that. This was mainly driven by large portfolios such as Juries Inn and the Qgreen sale. 2016, on the other hand, saw transactions slow down in the UK, and due to the uncertainty surrounding Brexit, the German hotel investment market performed very strongly. Germany outranked the UK for the first time in terms of transactions, reaching 5.7 billion euro. In 2017, transactions in the UK picked up again, as large portfolio transacted again, such as Juries Inn, which sold for approximately 900 million euro, and Q Hotels, which sold for roughly 600 million euro. At the same time, Spain saw transaction volume more than double, from just below 2 billion to over 4 billion euro. So what does that mean? Where are the opportunities? Where will we see more transactions in the future? The black dot in this graph shows the current position of the market when factoring in the overnight to bed ratio and RevPAR performance. The arrow indicates the outlook, or our outlook, for 2019. For this, we've cross-analyzed our overnight to bed ratio forecast with RevPAR outlook, liquidity, and transactional outlook for each of these markets. So going forward, we expect to see more interest in less known destinations, such as Croatia and Romania, as investors are looking for value. We've also identified branding opportunities for Iceland, Poland, Denmark, Sweden, and Portugal. Due to growing demand, positive RevPAR growth, but low brand penetration at the moment. For opportunistic investors, markets must show good signs of liquidity and low prices per key in order to create value. Thus, we've also considered liquidity and the transactional outlook for each of these markets when identifying Portugal, Poland, and Sweden due to good RevPAR growth potential, fairly good liquidity, and low prices per key. Hopefully, this provided you with some insight on the European hotel transaction market. Thank you very much for your attention, and now I hand over to Mike.